welcome back to this data analytics course for SDFT 2026. Remember last time we discussed about mode analytics and how we use mode analytics to run our notebook. Now today we're going to use Google Colab to run the same notebook. If you are interested or if you prefer Google Colab, please you can follow me. You can search Google Colab on your system, on your browser rather. Go to Google Colab. On you will see something like this, and you go through upload. Then I already have mine uploaded, so I don't want to upload it again. But as soon as you upload it, you should find it here, and as soon as you run it or click on it, you should have something like this. Now, like we did earlier on, I explained the variable in our previous video, which is a label for a labeled container that stores a value. And every variable and the value stored in a variable has a specific data type. It could be integer, float, string, and boolean. These are the common data types that we encounter almost every day in our coding activities. Now, just for a record, just to give you an update again, integers are whole numbers. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's integer. Now, float is decimal numbers, one that have decimals. String is text. And usually strings are represented by having quotation like this on the text value. If you don't put the quotation, it will return an error. This is just to show that this is a string, is a text. And Boolean is either true or false. This we'll get to it later. Now, this here is just showing an example of different variables. And if you run this, you should be able to get this. Do not worry about this guy here. It's just showing us the class, or let's say the type of variable that we have. This is returning the output of this, the result of this. Say if you want to check for data type in Python, just put type and put the name of the variable. Then it will give you the class or the data type. This is string. For age, we say this age is integer. For height, this is a float. For when you have true or false value, is a boolean. Now go through this exercise quickly, and let's pause the video and come back again. Welcome back. I believe you have paused the video. You tried this exercise on your own using the previous uh, cell values that we have here. So in the meantime, this hash string, this is a hash string. This hash here is just a way to comment out a line in a Python program. Anytime you put hash on a line, if I put hash before this, anything after that would be comment out. When you comment out a line, that means during compilation, during runtime, it will not run it. It will jump over it. So as now I comment this out, if I run it, this Sarah will not print. If I don't, I need to comment this out as well. So now you see it skipped over Sarah because I commented it out. So for the record, I mean for your information, anytime you see this before a line, it shows that we are commenting out the line. So don't let it confuse you at all. Now that you are back, create a variable called city, create variable called years of experience, print both variables. Now, another thing is anything we do in this cell stays in this cell for now, except we refer to it. So this cell is not really affecting this cell unless we call upon any variable that's already been used here. So now let's move to another cell and see what we have done about our exercise. For me, I say my city equals to Lagos. Remember, I use this quotation to show that Lagos is a text, it's a string value. Yeah. If I do not put any quotation here, I'm going to have an error. It's going to see it as let's say I do something like this, it's going to return an error because here it's showing this as a variable. You see, it's saying Lagos is not defined. So any variable ought to be defined. So just for information purpose. Now, years of experience 67. If I print this, we have print city. So remember this city here is just a text. It doesn't hold any value. Now, print city. So this city here holds a value because it doesn't have any quotation. It's not a string, it's a variable. So we are referring to this variable here. So this type here only is used to check the data type of a particular variable that we have. Since the content of the variable could have different data types. So now if we run this, we're going to have the city is Lagos and the data type. Do not get confused about this. This is just from the uh, Python inner function. It's not something we want to dive deep in now. So just understand that this is telling you like the city Lagos has a data type. The city variable rather has a data type string, and the years experience variable has a data type integer, and the value of it is 67. So now let's move to list. A list stores multiple value in one variable. Remember in this previous one that we did, we only have one variable and one value. Now we want to see what if we have multiple values and want to attach it to a variable. Now that is what list does. But remember, lists are unordered, are ordered and changeable. That means it's mutable. That means you can change the list after you've established the list. You can change it. And also another important thing we need to remember is indexing starts at 0. So for every list that we have, any list that we have, the first position, since we remember we say it's ordered, like it's ordered. Ordered means like it has an order. So apple is the first item on the list. Banana is the second item on the list. So lists are ordered. But one thing we need to remember is like in Python, indexing starts from 0. So the number one item on our list is apple. But when we want to index it, we need to index it with position 0. So this 0, 1, 2. Let's start with that. So if we print, we can also print the list by just calling on the name of the list of the variable. So do not get confused with this. This is a mere text. If you remove it and print again, you will see you have the list. But if you apply it, it will give us like the description of what is inside the variable called fruit. So this is a text and it doesn't hold any value. It's just a description of what is happening. But when you are printing, you need to, when you put this type of description, you remember to put your comma to separate it from fruit. So that's how we have fruits. The fruits that we have right now are apple, banana, and orange. Now, what if we want to identify the first fruit on our list? Remember, this is how we go about indexing a list. So you call the name of the list or the variable, which is fruits. Then you put the square brackets and you wrap it inside, you wrap your position inside the square bracket. Like you put the position there. For this, 0 is apple and 1 is banana. So let's just run this. So the first fruit is apple, as you can see. And another important thing we need to notice here is like if you want to index the last location, if you want to point to the last location on the list here, you use -1. This is very important because whenever we have a very long item, very long list of item in the list, you may not be able to know the last location. So instead of you counting 1, 2, 3, imagine you have 10,000 items in the list and you want to count how many you have there. No, you don't want to do that. Just go to the last one by saying -1. So this is -1, and this is -2, and this is -3, and so on and so forth. So we can, if you print this, you ought to have orange. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, that is very cool. Now let's remove the now another powerful characteristics or features of a list is like we can append to an already existing list. Append means you had an item. So how do you do that? You call the name of the list, the name of the variable fruit, dot, then you call the append method. You wrap it in a parenthesis and you append, you put the name or the content that you want to append. So here we want to append number 5 to the already existing list. How does it do that? It goes to the end of the list and append it to that location. So let's run it. Now you see number 5 is appended on the last item, after the last item on the list. So you can also append any other value if you want. You can append, but make sure you're consistent with the data type. Now we want to use string. So I have to put a quotation. Okay. Do that, you see Lagos is having is now appended in the list. Now, the first fruit, we are done with this. Let's move to the next one. Let's move to this to change an item in the list. This is also a very important, powerful feature of list. You can actually change an item, an already existing item in the list by just referring to the index, the location of the list, the location of the item rather on the list, and updating it to another value. So if we do this and we run it, you see it's going to update. Banana used to be here, now we have blueberry. So that's another powerful characteristics of list. That's why we say it is mutable. A list is mutable. That means it can change. And this is, you can pause the video, just go through the exercise, then we can come back. You can come back, then we go through it together. try and do something about the exercise, just get into error, make mistake, put it on WhatsApp group and share your error there. Let's all learn together. Now, the mini exercise, let's create a list called numbers. Put 5 numbers in the list and print the list. Print the second item. Add one more number and print the updated list. Now let's go through that. The number I have decided to go with is 10 through 50. Now, let me start by printing the number. Numbers are numbers. The numbers I gone with are. You see, when I change this, it doesn't have anything to do with the outcome. It's just a mere information text. It's just giving us a texture. It's informing us what we are doing. But this is the main thing. We can actually remove this and we'll still be fine. So it's going to print the list. But remember, when you do that, you want to attach description, the number. Make sure you use your double quotation and make sure you separate with a comma. Show that this is the end of what you are describing here, and this another value that you want to print. Value of a variable you want to print. So the numbers here are 10, 20, 30, and 40 through 50. Now we are done with that. Let's go to the next one. Let's print the second item. The second item, like we said, currently we use 0 and 1 in Python to count the index of and the location of the item on the list. Now we have this. I believe this should give us 20. Let's print it. Second item is 20. Yeah. Now, let's go to append. Remember, we did append the other time. So if you append a number to this, it's going to append to the last part. Let's say you want to append 60, just to be more consistent with our values. So if we print it now, it will have updated 60. So this is a very powerful feature of list. Now let's go to tuple. Tuple is a list, but unlike a list, tuple cannot be changed after creation. That's why I call it is an immutable list. So for example, let's use coordinates x and y. Coordinate x and y. When you for your information, tuples are represented using parentheses, and the items in the tuples are separated by comma, as just like it is in the list. So we can print this and see what happens. We can also put some description there just to make it more descriptive. Say x is 10 and y is 20. Oh, just as we refer to the locations index just as we index in list, we also index in tuple. So almost every characteristics of a list are featured in a tuple, but one thing we should know is like tuple does not change, and you cannot change the content there after you have established it. Now we refer to x here to be 0. Coordinate 0 is 10, coordinate 1 is 20. So y is coordinate 1. So that's why we have x and y to be 10 and 20 respectively. Now, let's move on to let's check if we can change the value of a tuple and see. You remember we said we cannot change it and it's immutable. So you see here, we'll see when we try to change coordinate 0, we want to change 10 to 99. Is saying tuple object does not support item assignment. That is very interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. Let's see what happens here. Hmm. I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, tuple object does not support. So the what we establish here now is like unlike list, tuple is immutable. Just remember that, and that is only the difference between list and a tuple. Now let's move to dictionaries. Dictionaries are storing key value pairs. They store a key, and a value of the key. They store it in a very, very classical way. Like remember our dictionary where we look for vocabulary and the name, or those of us that did a lot of vocabulary while in school. Remember when you hear any new vocabulary, you go back to your jotting note and you jot it down and say, okay, this vocabulary, this is the meaning, especially when you're going for English test. So now dictionary does the same thing, but in dictionary, we go by the variable name, the name of the dictionary, and here it's usually wrapped in a curly bracket. But remember, tuples are wrapped in parentheses, a list is wrapped in a square bracket, while a dictionary is wrapped in a curly bracket. Now, remember, saying we can now always, after we have the curly bracket, you put in the key. The key is usually um, in string. That's why you have it quoted, quotation here. So this is the key and this is the value. For this value here is a string. That's why we have it in quotation because it's a name. It's a name. It's a text. So the age here is also a string because the key. Sorry, is a key. All keys in the dictionary are string, but the values could be of different data type. Like you see here, Sarah 25, Sarah is string, integer, string. Yeah. So that's basically something about dictionary. Now let's go through doing some exercise here. Let's try and print student. So now, if you print a dictionary, this is what you will get. Then it will show you the old dictionary. Now, remember, do not confuse this. This is just a description. You can still do this and it will print. So do not confuse that. Now we can also print the name of specific key and the value of in a dictionary. The specific key here, we choose a name and the value. Now this is a bit different. If you want to print the value of a key in a dictionary, you need to call the dictionary name or the variable of the dictionary, which we call student. Student is a variable or the name of the dictionary, either ways. Now you wrap it. You remember when you index list, you want to point to a location in a list. Yeah, this is similar, but not absolutely. Now you are pointing to the key here. Um, you are pointing to the key of a dictionary. So the key here is name. So now if we call this, we are expecting Sarah to return Sarah. Let's see what happens. So now when we point to the key name in our dictionary, it's saying the name is Sarah, right? If we point to this H, it should give us the H. So do not mistake this. Maybe I should just remove this. So this will give us the H. If we put the name, it gives us the name of the student, student name, student age, student course, same thing, data sign. But this other stuff that we have here, this thing is just a description, and you don't have to confuse yourself. Maybe in the meantime, you can decide to remove it for now and just focus on the basic. Then later on, you can start introducing the complicated formats. Now, the good thing in dictionary is like we can also add a new key in dictionary. For example, previously our student dictionary does not have country. Now we want to include country. How do we do that? You write the student variable or the student dictionary name, then you wrap it in a parenthesis, in a square bracket, and put the new key that you want to add. Then you now assign it to a value called USA. And if you print that, if you print the updated student dictionary, you will see a country appended to that. You can also append a value. Now, this is appending a totally new key, a key that we don't have here before. Now we can actually do that we can now, you remember a tuple is not mutable, cannot be changed. But in dictionary, we can change an already existing value. Already existing value of a key. So yeah, the key is age, student age, and we want to change it to 26. If we print it now, you have student age updated to 26. It used to be 25, but here now we update it to 26. This is very powerful features of a dictionary as well. Dictionary is very useful, especially in JSON going forward. It's a fundamental um, data type that we use consistently, even in the web nowadays. So I encourage you to dive deep into this, get a core understanding of this. If you could grasp the understanding of this is going to help you in a long time. Now let's do a mini exercise. Just pause the video, go through the exercise here, and get something out of it, and let's come back again. Well, you're welcome back. Now let's create a dictionary called movie with title, year, and rating. Now we say movie equals the curly bracket. I don't want to be typing because it will take time. So we have a title, which is a key, and the Black Panther is a value. Remember, your value is what? Is a string here. Then the next one is a comma. So if you want it to look like a list, you can also do it like this. Maybe you are not familiar with the way I formatted it. So you see, it's having this and this as the first one, then this and this as the second key value pair, and these ratings and this key value pair as the last key value pair in the dictionary. So now we can print our movie. Movie title Black Panther. You see that? So, and we can also print the year or it's saying we should print the dictionary, then print only the title. We want to print the title. Yeah. I will printed the dictionary here. Now, what if we want to print only the title of the movie? Yeah, we just say title, and the also we say the title of the movie is movie title. Movie, the name of the dictionary, then you call the title inside a square bracket. Remember that. That is what how to refer to the value of a dictionary. So if I run it now, we should have the title of the movie is Black Panther. So this is very important now, and I believe we have covered the very fundamental of data types and variables. And I encourage you to dive deeper into this, get your hands dirty, go online, check a lot of stuff, go to WhatsApp, push your complaint, push your error. If you have tried something and it's not working out, discuss on the group. Let us all learn together, and I will see you the next time. Have a good one.